Hello and welcome back for another Baldur's Gate 3 video. So today we're going to be talking about a new update that Larian posted about Baldur's Gate 3, looking into the future. So they touched on a few things that they're going to be putting in for patch 2. We just got patch 1, which was they touted 1,000 bug fixes. But moving on to the update and what it's going to be doing, they did say patch 2 is right around the corner. So one thing they did talk about is endings, cut content, and user experience. So they're going to be working heavily on Act 3, and they're going to be working heavily on the city of Baldur's Gate, performance, and everything like that, which is actually really good because I think that is probably the worst portion of the game, and many other people do agree. I think a lot of people think that's probably where the most work needs done based off of feedback and everything. So to jump into the meat of this is they are talking about that there is cut content from the game, but content that they never planned on putting in the game for specific reasons. Whether it's user testing, whether it's they feel like it didn't fit in the narrative of the story, and they feel that it didn't work well with the game and the original vision that they had. So one thing I want to put forth is they are talking about how they're going to fix Karlach's storyline. A lot of people are not happy with it, and in my personal experience too, it almost made me quit the game. On my first playthrough, I romanced Karlach. I got to the end of the game, I beat the ending sequence, and nothing happened with her. She just disappeared. And I thought that was odd because, I heard a lot of people talking about, or she actually talked to me about, spoilers if you guys have not gotten to this point already. Skip ahead a few seconds. To where she wanted me to be with her in the last moments. I figured that's what was going to happen. And then I beat the game. Basically, the routes I took, she just disappeared and there was no ending for her whatsoever. I've also looked at some of the other endings of the game, and I saved scum and looked at all her other endings, and I was not happy with how they treated her character at all. I think her personality, she is the best character in the game to romance, my opinion, but her story wise, she is the weakest. And I feel like they could work on her story overall. But they did talk about how they are going to be adding different epilogues, and they are going to be giving Karlach the ending that she deserves, which I'm very happy about. And I'm probably going to go back to that other save once they add it and see what I can do differently to get those endings. And hopefully I'll be satisfied because it was pretty upsetting, especially on your first playthrough, and you've grown attached to this character, and the ending that you get is kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. They do talk about how a lot of things were building blocks and ideas that they were going to get into, but they really didn't. A lot of people say they cut the upper city, but then they're also talking about the upper city as just an epilogue of the ending of the game, which it is here. And they say that they're not going to add any more to that because they feel it's good where it is. And the upper city is pretty quick, ending of the game. And a lot of people haven't really finished the game. If you look at the Steam charts, and if you look at Xbox or PS5 hasn't launched yet. So there's still a lot of people to experience the ending of the game. In my opinion, I hope they touch on a couple other people's stories as well. Like Astarion, for instance, playing with him through early access in the beginning of my first play session, I couldn't stand Astarion. I don't know what it was. He just irked me and I couldn't stand playing with him. But as I did his story actually made him one of my favorite characters. His story is very emotionally gripping. I want to try to avoid spoilers here for people who haven't done it, but his is the best and one of the best in the game, in my opinion. But he only has two endings from what I've experienced. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's other things that you could do with him, but like as far as his story goes, I've only experienced two endings with him. And I feel that could be worked on a little bit better if like you either go really bad route or the good route and he's just yeah, I don't know. I want to try and avoid spoilers, so I'm sorry if that kind of really didn't go anywhere, but I feel his could be worked on. I feel Shadow Hearts is in a pretty good spot. Lae'zel's hers makes sense. I only did one ending with hers, and I felt it was her good ending. That made sense. I was satisfied with it. I haven't done another playthrough ending with her. I still got to do that. I'm still working on finishing everything I can for the final review of the game. And they're also looking to add a lot of things that the community has given feedback on. I think a lot of the user stash and switching between characters and, stash between characters could be fixed. And I think they're going to touch on a lot of these things. But all in all, I feel that is probably the biggest issue with data miners is it's a good thing and a bad thing, especially when it comes to game experience and game development, because there's a lot of things that ended up being scrapped for specific reasons from the developers, and the community doesn't know this because they're not developing the game, and the developers are not going to talk about it because they don't want to give false pretenses and everything like that. So when data miners get a hold of it and be like, oh, this was in the game, or this was cut from the game, or this could be a thing in the game, and it ends up not coming true, or it ends up, people like it and it doesn't get added, that leaves a sour taste in a lot of players' mouth, and then the developers suffer from that. So take a lot of things with data mining with a grain of salt. In my opinion, I look at it and see, okay, this could be something that possibly could be in the game, or it could be something like that they never thought of. Even when people data mine games that aren't coming out yet, and there's changes that you don't know happened, and you're expecting one thing and another thing happens. So I think data mining has its uses, but it causes a lot of troubles for developers and expectations for games. But my final thoughts on this, I think this is really good moving forward, and they have a good trajectory. And I think that Larian is going to put this game in a very, very good spot like they have with the previous games. I mean, they're basically going down the same road that they have every single game that they put out, whether they do an enhanced edition or a definitive edition or whatnot. I think is going to end up being a very, very, very good experience from start to finish. And I think a lot of people who are still playing the game and have not completed the game yet for whatever reason, other games coming out, or this is just a massive game in itself. Like if you do everything, it could be 120 hours just on a single playthrough, let alone multiple playthroughs. So it also depends on how fast you are, but the average player, it's going to take them forever to get through this game. I think by the time that they finish, they are going to be in a good spot. And I've had faith all along that Larian is going to put this game in a good spot. So that's going to be it for me today. I just wanted to talk about this, and I'm very excited that Karlach is going to finally get the ending that she deserves, and she's going to finally get justice. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you guys excited about what they have going on moving forward? Are you still upset that the supposed cut content, or technically it was cut content because they decided not to move forward with that idea, but are you disappointed that some of that's not going to be in the game moving forward? Has that changed your expectations of the game? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for choosing to watch this video. If you think I've earned it, go ahead and like and subscribe to the video, and there will be much more Baldur's Gate 3 content coming your way, and I'll start doing some reviews for some other games too. I'm still working on the review for Baldur's Gate 3. I got a few things that I want to touch upon before I do the final review. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.